Hello everybody. I thought today I'd do a little video on my Colecovision system. I won't be talking about the accessories in detail anyway, but the Colecovision was one of the last machines that came out before the gaming crash of 1983-84, and it was a very advanced system. It didn't have a long run because of the crash, but to be honest, it's one of the best graphically and arcade conversions were on this system here. And they had a number of expansion modules. I have a couple of them here. The expansion module 1 here caused some controversy, obviously with Atari suing them over being able to run their Atari 2600 or VCS game cartridges on it. But since the 2600 used pretty much off-the-shelf parts, they really couldn't stop them. So basically this then turned into Coleco releasing the Gemini, which was their basically a clone of the 2600. The second expansion module here was the steering wheel. Now, it wasn't really an expansion module because on the front of the ColecoVision there was actually an expansion port, but the turbo expansion module here basically used the two joystick ports, port 1 and port 2. Joystick 1 basically became the shifter knob, and the steering wheel itself went into port number 2. It had a gas pedal as well. It was really neat. I mean, for the time, it was pretty cool having a steering wheel. It was kind of cheaply made. I would say probably a paddle controller would probably be more responsive, honestly. But, you know, it worked, and it was kind of fun. The Super X controllers here were pretty neat. Basically, you had a standard joystick on it, the keypad, but also had, as you can see in the back, the gray wheel, which is basically like a paddle wheel, so you can spin it. And also had 4 trigger buttons. And the joystick is absolutely huge. They actually had a little piece you can plug into the back for your fingers to hold on to a little bit better. But certain games, like the baseball game that came with it, was really good. They had a Rocky boxing game, but also Frontline. If anyone knows that arcade game Frontline, you needed this this controller to use it, and that's one of my favorite games on the ColecoVision. This I didn't really use too much was the roller controller. It came with a game called Slither, which is kind of like a weird centipede clone, but it wasn't a true trackball. It was kind of like if you ever saw the Atari 5200 version of their trackball, but theirs was an actual real honest trackball. You used your controllers, you can pop them on both sides like the 5200. But to be honest, it really wasn't that great. It was more of a gimmick because basically that ball really just worked like a joystick. There was no real speed sensing on it. But let's take a little break from this and look more at the actual console. Okay, here's my ColecoVision I got basically at launch. I got this back in 1982. I think I paid $189 for the ColecoVision, and I got it at launch. I got one of the first ones that came into my town, and I had the 2600 at the time, and I actually had my TI 9940 computer. And to be honest, the ColecoVision and the Texas Instruments TI 994A, there's some lineage there. They both use the same graphics chip, and some of the other technologies between the ColecoVision and the TI was similar. And the TI 994A was a very advanced computer. It got hampered by some decisions they made internally. It was actually a 16-bit computer or 16-bit CPU on the TI, but the motherboard was all 8-bit based, and there was some glue logic that really slowed it down. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. So I have a lot more cartridges here, but the ColecoVision came with this, which was probably one of the reasons it sold. The ColecoVision, again, graphically was very advanced, better than anything at the time, but this game alone really put it on the map more than anything. They had great arcade conversions, some less known ones like Venture. This one I actually had to repair the CPU, or not CPU, the memory ROMs in here. One of the pins broke off and I had to fix it. Nowadays, they sell things like this guy right here, which is from AtariMax. These things are great. He makes one for the 5200 as well. It's a micro SD card, flash card, where you can put pretty much all the games, demos, homebrews on here and launch them from a menu. It's really, really good. The ColecoVision itself, it's a nice looking unit. It's got some nice chrome accents on it. Your cartridge port is up here. Reset button, on-off button. Now, when these units are getting old, there's a lot of issues with these power on-off switches. They seem to go bad. I've been pretty lucky, haven't had any problems with that. Another thing that these have here is they run on 5 volts and 12 volts. The video RAM is 12 volts. And again, some ColecoVision started having a problem with that. Now, they do make, there are AV mods available to this, but there's actually a replacement video chip in here. And you can actually go directly out to VGA, and I'm planning on getting one of those. So basically, you have to desolder the video chip on here, and you put in a replacement chip, which has got a programmable gate array on it, and it goes right out to VGA. And you're not getting anything better than a VGA output on it. And it also bypasses that 12-volt RAM. So you can basically run this now on 5 volts, because it doesn't use any of that video RAM at all. This is the infamous expansion bus right here. And this guy, it's a little hard to come up sometimes, but that gives you direct access to the internals of the board. And they actually made, unfortunately, one of the things that helped kill the line was the Atom computer. And they made expansion module number 3. And original expansion module number 3 was supposed to be called the Super Game Module, which was going to use little tape wafers instead of ROM cartridges that would allow you to basically have almost unlimited levels, because the tapes would obviously hold a lot more than these cartridges did at the time. And they were high speed. They weren't like cassettes. They were high speed wafers. But they had some problems getting them in quantity. And they decided to basically go instead make it a full-fledged computer with the Atom. And they rushed that to market, even though it was a really good idea, having a whole complete computer, printer, everything for $600. But they rushed it to market. They had a lot of problems with the high-speed cassettes. They didn't get the wafer drives in time. They went to high-speed cassette, and they had so many problems with those drives that about 80% of the machines went back as defective. And you don't recover for something like that. And that's basically one of the things that killed ColecoVision and its line. Fortunately, Coleco had the Cabbage Patch dolls, and they continued that for a little while. But again, I'm getting a little off topic here. So the ColecoVision, again, used regular cartridges here, but I'm going to actually show the AtariMax just because you can do everything on it. So I'm going to put that in here like so. Hit the old power switch here, and I got my old TV set here. It's running RF, but you can see it gives a really good picture, though. The ColecoVision is pretty sharp. I'll try and get a little closer here. I got some lights that might be interfering. But you can see with just RF output, the ColecoVision does a pretty good job. Now, the ColecoVision controllers kind of borrowed a little bit from Atari and a little bit from Intellivision. I guess at the time, keypads were the thing. And to be honest, I had no problem with the keypads. You had little overlays. Some people later on with the Jaguar kind of, know about these keypads and the overlays. But I had no problem with it. The real problem with the ColecoVision controller is the actual joystick. These suckers right here are so stiff. You really had to pull these things to get anything to happen on them. You got the 2 buttons on the left and right here. Your hands did cramp up after a while. I'm going to be totally honest. You're playing something that did a lot of firing. You got cramps. Those are the old days. You got to fight through the pain to use your controller. But you can be firing and hit the buttons pretty easy on it. In some games, I did use it, like Mousetrap, use these to open doors, or Ladybug, use it to open doors. Games like War Room, you could pick different weapons and so forth on it. But the real problem was really this short controller here, this joystick. I mean, it gets a job done, but man, it's painful. It really is. And again, they stored in here like Intellivision. But it feels good in the hand. I mean, it's solid plastic. I mean, the system itself is really just nice overall. But now if we go up here, try and get a better shot of the screen here, you can basically select, let's go up here to here, bang, and go to here. Now, I was really surprised. One game I never had back in the day was a version of Pac-Man on the ColecoVision. They did have one. AtariSoft made Pac-Man for it. And I'm going to have to say that I think it's probably the best version of its era. Just got to go through the list here to find it, of course. And let's see if we can find it here. Went a little too far. I must have. This old screen here is not centering on right. It's not the ColecoVision. It's just this particular television. Where do we have our Pac-Man? Let's try and find something on here. I'm going to pause it, guys, so I can find the game, and then we'll come back on. Okay, I finally found it here. So basically on your controller, when you pick it, press the button, you select it, and the AtariMax device loads that ROM into its onboard flash, and you get your game. Now I'm going to be doing this one-handed, so I'll do my best here. But you can hear the sound effects are pretty good. Graphically, the game looks really good. And I'm going to die already. Oh. Look at that. And this does have the cutscenes, like the arcade game. But again, for its time, I think this is probably the best graphic version of Pac-Man. It's just very colorful, good sound effects. And I really wish I bought this back in the day, because I think it would have been worth it. Now, if you want to, on the actual AtariMax cartridge, there's a reset button on here. Just press that and hit your reset, and you get taken back to your game menu. And I want to show you another game on here that was really good. Let's go into here. There was also a copy of Space Invaders. So hold on one second while I pull up Space Invaders. So once again, just find it, hit the button. And again, this thing is pretty damn close to the arcade game. Let me go down to the options menu here. And I like it in the original black and white. Oh, let's go back. The color is not really color. They kind of try and emulate they used to put plastic overlays over the screen. And I just prefer the regular. So let's go here and here. And the only thing that's off a little bit is the sound effect of the Invaders marching. It's not as much bass, but the rest of the effects are pretty damn good, and graphically it looks great. So with the Colecovision and this AtariMax card, you can pretty much start playing some homebrews or any game that you want to load on here. It's really simple to use. I think it was about $129. Not cheap, but you kind of get what you pay for. It's a quality device by AtariMax. The guy makes one again for the Atari 5200, which I have, which works really well. He makes flash cards also for the Atari 8-bit computers. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, please like, share, subscribe, leave any comments you like, and game on, everyone. I hope you have a great night.